Good morning, SKN. I am Cortentia Carty. I hope you are rested and rejuvenated and you enjoyed your 4-day weekend. We now begin this morning with the latest in local news. This from SKN Vibes. In a medical statement issued on April 6th, the First Caribbean. In a media statement. I don't know why I'm thinking medical already. A media statement issued on April 6th, the First Caribbean International Bank Limited announced that the sale of its assets of First Caribbean International Bank Barbados Limited in St. Kitts to the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank will not go ahead. In October 2021, under certain conditions, the central bank had approved the sale of the CIBC First Caribbean assets in several territories across the Eastern Caribbean, including St. Kitts and Nevis and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The statement read, the St. Kitts and Nevis Anguilla National Bank recently informed the FCIBC Barbados that it has not secured final approval from the ECCB to conclude the acquisition. The ECCB subsequently notified FCIB Barbados of its decision to not grant final approval for the sale of its operation in St. Kitts. The sale of the CIBC was initiated during the mass exodus of international banks from the Caribbean due to the implementation of regulations and de-risking measures that stiffer penalties should those laws be broken, such as fines for money laundering. From a press release by the permanent missions of St. Kitts and Nevis to the United Nations, New York, in a further demonstration of St. Kitts and Nevis' commitment to the people of Haiti during this period of crisis, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, through its permanent representative to the United Nations, Her Excellency Naris Dockery, has joined the Ad Hoc Advisory Group on Haiti, a group charged with following closely and providing advice on the long-term development strategy of Haiti to promote a socio-economic recovery, reconstruction, and stability, with particular attention to the need to ensure coherence and sustainability in international support for the country. The government's request for membership was endorsed by the permanent representative of Haiti and supported by the permanent representative of Canada, chair of the Ad Hoc Advisory Group, who raised it during the plenary session of the United Nations Economic and Social Council, held Wednesday, April 5th, 2023. Ambassador Dockery said, and quote, St. Kitts and Nevis being represented on this advisory committee, which is the main committee mobilizing international action on the Haiti crisis, provides an opportunity to be in the room where critical decisions are being taken and to strengthen the group's efforts to address the humanitarian needs of the population, restore security and political stability, and devise a people-centered development pathway to reconstruction and good governance. As we continue, this story comes from Media SKN. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, in a national address on April the 6th, 2023, announced the official rollout of the Graduate Finance Project aimed at reducing student loan interest rates. Previously, the Prime Minister shared that interest rates on student loans accessed through the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis would be reduced to 5% per annum for students undertaking tertiary education and those who desire to pursue higher studies. He said, in quote, as of today, Thursday, April 6, 2023, the interest rate on the student loans accessed through the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis for new students has been reduced to 5% per annum. The intention is to ensure that graduates can live and plan for better lives. The Graduate Finance Project offers 5% interest on a maximum of EC $100,000 for a grace period of 4.25 years with a 15-year repayment term. It also includes an EC 15,000 credit to service the student loan during the period, which eliminates the payment of interest for the 4 years. With reduced rate, the Prime Minister hopes that there will be some flexibility in graduates' ability to create wealth without the burden of long-standing and hefty student loans. Now for your weather forecast, it is mostly sunny with a high of 80 and a low of 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It is currently 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Take a look at your hourly and weekly weather and come back. Regional and international news after this here on Good Morning SKN.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moment Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN as we continue now with the regional news. This from Loop Caribbean. The Guyana government says it's working with the Pan American Health Organization and the World Health Organization on a new initiative to eradicate 5 key infectious diseases in the country. The Ministry of Health said filaria, Bigfoot, leprosy, Chagas, Leishmaniasis or bushiors have been identified by the government to be eradicated in a few years and remains confident that these diseases will be eliminated with the technical support from the 2 nations' health organizations. End quote. We have been working with them on a number of projects. Right now, we are working to eliminate filaria from Guyana. We are hoping that in a couple of years from now, we can declare Guyana to be filaria-free. So that is one of the projects that we have with PAHO, said Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony, end quote, as he addressed the commission of the Paramatokai Smart Hospital in Region 8. He said the government remains optimistic that leishmaniasis, which is caused by infection with leishmania parasites, which are spread by the bite of phlebotomine sandflies, along with the Chagas disease, which is caused by a bug, will be eradicated from Guyana. Anthony said that the government will shortly be launching an interesting immunization program. On the international scene, today our news comes from ABC News. Britain is bracing for a 4-day walkout by tens of thousands of doctors at the state-funded healthcare system that one official warned Monday could be catastrophic and postponed up to 350,000 appointments. The strike by National Health Service doctors early in their career comes amid walkouts by public workers across many sectors demanding pay hikes during a cost of living crisis. A 3-day doctor strike last month crippled the system that has been trying to dig out of an appointment backlog that predates the pandemic and has led to longer waiting times to see a doctor. With inflation ballooning above 10% and spikes in food and heating costs, wages have fallen in real terms and people have struggled to pay bills. The British Medical Association, BMA, the doctors' union, has asked for a 35% pay rise to bring junior doctors' pay back to 2008 levels. Newly qualified medics earn just over £14 an hour, said the British Medical Association. Meanwhile, the workload and patient waiting lists for treatment are at a record high. Well, folks, there you have it for regional and international news. Stay tuned. We have so much in store for you this morning here at Good Morning SKN. See you after this.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
朋友，大家好. Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
No cash, no card, no problem. Jad, embrace the freedom.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Our first guest, Dr. Garfield Alexander, is joining us to discuss the implementation of the medical cannabis industry in St. Kitts and Nevis. Dr. Alexander, good morning and welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning. It's quite a pleasure to be here.
Oh, our pleasure having you. So we are going to speak on medicinal cannabis this morning. How important is it in our society today? I'm going to start with that question.
That's a very poignant question. It's important to us in one great aspect for me. For example, Ras Sankofa really highlighted the way and opened the way for a different perspective when it comes to cannabis and even medical cannabis, in that he started it off as a constitutional right. So that if in your home, in the privacy of your home, and you're over the age of 18, you can partake of cannabis and nobody's supposed to interrupt that. Yes. So it means that if you take it for recreational, medicinal, spiritual, you're allowed within the privacy of your own home. So it started off, or it sets a great starting point for our federation to enter into medicinal cannabis, where we're just registering it and monitoring it a little bit more closely and making sure that if you say, I have this product that's cannabis contained or has some cannabis in it, and it has medicinal properties, that it is so. And what's its name, what is inside, and how can someone or a patient use this and actually find relief from it. We're just here to register those products, register those healthcare providers, and ensure that what they're saying, what they're promising, they're also delivering.
Okay, you said register, so you're asking us to basically come forward and say we are planting this and we would like to register and we won't be in any sort of trouble?
Right.
Is that what you're asking us to do?
Well, what the Medical Cannabis Authority does is basically register and monitor from seed to sale.
Okay.
So from the seed, from your plant to sale, so there's cultivation, there's processing, there's even the transportation of cannabis and cannabis products within St. Kitts must be controlled, must be registered, and must be controlled by the authority as well, to ensure that, well, security risk, to ensure that the best quality, to ensure that we're all working as one unit, to ensure the safety of our public.
You said safety. Expound a bit on that. What do you mean by safety?
Okay. What I like to do, and even myself, I like to always, within the context of cannabis, look at alcohol and tobacco. and how are they registered and monitored. It's basically goes along the same way. Like, we all know tobacco is not safe. It's legal though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's still, for example, there's an agent in St. Kitts who's in charge of, or who has a license to import it and sell it and retail, and retailers have to get the license to retail it.
Yeah.
We are saying that cannabis deserves that same structure, those same policies to ensure that people are using it as safely as possible, and those who choose not to use it safely don't endanger others, because that's their adult right.
Right, indeed, indeed. I asked you a question before we started. For smokers that maybe have smoked marijuana, let's say for all their lives, have you ever had a patient come to you and you just found in their system that they have no sort of disease? Is that even possible?
Well, that's a kind of complex question. I'll tell you this, when we say smokers, especially in St. Kitts, it's a very broad term that encompasses a lot of persons, because sometimes when we think smokers, we just think chronic smokers are people who smoke every day. But there are persons who smoke recreationally, there are persons who smoke and hide. In fact, there's some persons who are hiding, are not clandestine smokers, that maybe smoke more than the persons that you see every day, or who you have tagged with the label of smokers. It's a very gray area. So I'll give you my personal experience. Like, persons who are Rastas, like practicing Rastas and live a Rasta liberty life, they're the least likely I've seen as patients. And when they do appear as patients, it's usually something really bad. Yeah, because most times they're reliant. Most times they're living a healthy lifestyle. So most times they're last to come to a doctor because of that same mentality. There's a certain assuredness when you're living that lifestyle that kind of promotes, I don't need the Babylon system and I don't need doctors. So when they come, they're usually at the extreme. But I find that they're once you're living that lifestyle of natural, local, and centered on happiness, most times you live a very healthy life, in my experience.
Okay.
Right.
So let's talk about diseases that cannabis can cure, or medical cannabis can cure. What diseases can it cure?
But before that, I want to define the term medical cannabis, because again, that's broad and it's a very gray area. And lots of times, within the context of the United States, it's used as a euphemism to kind of make cannabis a little bit more publicly acceptable, because it sounds better that, because everybody knows that it heals. It has a long history of healing. So when you enter it through that gate, within that structure, it's more acceptable to the public. But lots of places, it's not truly medical. In St. Kitts, we are cognizant of the fact that we want it to be truly medical. Like I explained the example before about you having a product, and if it is advertised as a cannabis product, it must contain cannabis. It must have therapeutic value. You must show that it has therapeutic value. And through our research and our research, we must find that it has therapeutic value for it to go on the market in St. Kitts. So medical cannabis, and I want to read just to make sure that I don't leave anything out. Medical cannabis is a broad term for any sort of cannabis-based medicine used to relieve symptoms. So if it has any leaf, the stem, the roots, and it offers some kind of therapeutic value, it is medical cannabis. But again, I've seen several examples throughout the United States where persons with diagnosed diseases such as epilepsy, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, are prescribed joints, spliffs. And that's the smokable form, that's the flower of the plant. And you roll it just like as you said. So they're medicating, and the doctor there prescribes it and lets them know, well, this joint, and then they go to a dispensary, which is an area prescribed for the dispensing of medical cannabis.
I see that.
And gives them a spliff, a rolled spliff. It's called a pre-rolled joint or a pre-rolled spliff. And it's given to them, and it has they know the amount of cannabis in it and the amount of THC, the strain, and all that is labeled. And you go home and you medicate by smoking.
You mentioned THC before you continue. Is THC different from the cannabis?
Cannabis is the broad term for the plant, like cannabis sativa and so on. So that's the broad term for the plant. But within the plant, there's the flower, which has the highest potency of THC, which is the active ingredient with it.
Okay.
So for most persons, that it's not even for a long while, there was a big argument and two schools of thought that CBD and THC, which are the two active components within the cannabis plant.
Yes.
CBD is more medicinal. It has shown scientifically to have much more medical properties than THC. THC is what gives you the high, the euphoria, the one that makes everything seems a little bit better.
Okay.
Which can be a bit extreme for some persons. So it can cause hallucination, but that's the part that causes it. But it's one of the components of the plant.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, our body produces these same cannabinoids. The CBD and THC fall under what we call cannabinoids of the plant. And our bodies, we have our internal cannabinoids. And that has come from us interacting with this plant over thousands of years. Like, I'm talking since human beings have been on this plant, they've been interacting with this plant. So we have receptors. We don't have receptors for caffeine or alcohol or a lot of the other things that we take, or even some of the medications we take. But we have receptors in our brain, liver, all parts of our body, just specifically for cannabinoids. So that's why it recognizes the cannabinoids of the plant, because we have our endocannabinoid system that produces similar.
So then why isn't this thing legal from forever if it works so well in our body and everything that's bad, it's legal? Why not?
That's my question too. But to be quite honest, cannabis or weed or marijuana has only been illegal for the past 100 years. Before that, no matter where you go, whatever continent, Africa, Asia, everybody was using it medicinally, everybody was using it for several reasons. It just became illegal for political reasons, for racist reasons, within the past 100 years. So it's now coming back the way it was. So that question you're asking, everyone should ask themselves. And that is why, again, I'm going back to one of my core values, which were put forward by Rasankofa McAdoo. Rasankofa McAdoo. I always forget.
Okay.
I always get mixed up with his last name. In that he was sort of like our social conscience, in that he was the one that said, what could be so wrong about this plant? So he was arrested for planting it, served his time, and then came out and challenged the Constitution, challenged the court, challenged the Commission of Police, and said, this should be my constitutional right. So when the judge put down there, he actually said that. He actually said, for years, let me rephrase that. The judgment basically said answered your question, that for years, persons and groups of persons have been harassed and bullied and traumatized over this plant, which should have been legal, which should have been their right to interact with as they see fit. So my job, even now as the CEO of the Medical Cannabis Authority, is to carry on that core value that says that there must be some restorative justice. There must be some atonement for all those years. It can't be medical cannabis and only doctors thrive and only patients thrive. It must be where we start to fill those gaps of ownership, of value, where we value our soil and value the know-how and the knowledge and the experience of our farmers who've been growing this on the duress for years. So it's not a matter that we're going to bring in all the latest technology and the latest master growers from outside. We have to, for me, one of the core values is finding out what value we have here in St. Kitts in terms of soil, in terms of know-how, in terms of growers and farmers, and ensuring that we're able to receive whatever dividends from outside and grow exponentially. It's not just specifically about medicine and cannabis. Medicine and cannabis is just the structure which we've chosen to enter. But the industry, the cannabis industry, has been existing for years. We're just now turning on the lights in the room.
Oh, wow. Wow.
You seem a bit blown away.
I am. So you mentioned a few persons who will have access to the medical cannabis. Can I assume that all of us will have access eventually?
Well, again, St. Kitts is unique in that we're working in that tandem, that we're developing this new industry, and we have the Rasankofa judgment. You're going to hear me relate back to it all the time, because I think Kittitians need to know that they're already empowered. And you can now interact with this plant at home once you're over the age, and you make that decision on your own. So we should be not just providing the structure, but providing information as well. But we live in an internet age. Like I don't want to be the face of cannabis. I don't think the AG wants to be either. I don't even think the Prime Minister wants to be. You know, it has to be a collective effort.
Okay.
So I don't want persons to think that Dr. Alexander has arrived and all the problems with cannabis and the importation of seeds and the growing of it, he's going to solve it.
Yeah.
Because I need the know-how of these guys who've been growing it. So I don't want them on the street waiting for me to come and make handouts or to be like the Jesus. I'm not. It's about us as a group coming together and finding out what are the best choices for us to make moving forward. And I don't mind providing the leadership along with cabinet and certain consultants, but I need every Kittitian to understand that they're a part of this too. And a lot of the information is already there. Access it through the internet, through those phones that I know everyone owns.
Okay. So we're going to talk about that and so much more after this commercial break. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
大家好，我是陈琦，早安 SKN。
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN as we continue our engaging conversation with Dr. Garfield Alexander, CEO of the Medical Cannabis Authority here in St. Kitts and Nevis. So, Dr. Alexander, what is the main role of the Medicinal Cannabis Authority?
I'm going to be specific. I'm going to read that one just to make sure. But just to say this, because you asked me a very interesting question during the break, and it took me back to a class I had called medical, in Spanish, medical legal. It was just a deal with where there's an encroachment of medicine and the court or legality.
Legality.
And one of the lessons I learned that I always stayed with me is that when you're drafting the law, there's the letter of the law, like what the law says. And as you can see, most people debate that, lawyers debate that, people find loopholes in it. But when we sit down to draft the law, there's something called the spirit of the law, like what was our intent And that's one of the beautiful things of being now in a position where I could steer policy on cannabis diet. I need to ensure that it has those core values. And I want to make sure I read this before, so that I don't get it out. The core values that we want to be hallmarked by this is innovation and inclusiveness. Innovation in that we want to look around at all the other policies drafted by the different islands, not just islands, that's regional, to get a regional context, and internationally, to make sure that we learn from some of their mistakes. I'm going to give you a blaring example. Jamaica has the best cannabis brand worldwide. Worldwide, and that's because of the infusion of reggae, Bob Marley, the fact that they have such fertile soil, and they're such a renowned island that their cannabis brand, there's no, just think of it. If you think of weed, the first place to think about is Bob Marley, right?
Jamaica, so flawless.
Jamaica. And right now, I saw an article where they issued a license to a Canadian company to bring in weed from Canada into Jamaica. And it was, definitely uproar there, and everybody was scratching their head. And that's the state of beer affairs, and I don't want us to get to that point where we can import, because at some starter point we might not have it much, but we can't be world-renowned or growing world-renowned cannabis and allowing that large-scale importation. So that's what I speak to the spirit of the law, that our core values includes inclusiveness, and you heard me talk about restorative justice as well. It must give back to those who the war on drugs and the war on cannabis has taken the most from, which includes the Rastafarians, but it also includes the indigenous growers, some persons who were locked up from before for cannabis. We have to find some way of streamlining them and including them in a meaningful way. So that's one of the hallmarks I want to place in the Medical Cannabis Authority. So in that we've come up with a vision and a mission. I'm going to read the vision and mission now. The vision is to have a medical, therapeutic, and scientific cannabis industry that creates equal opportunities, enables people's health and wellness with safe and diverse products, fosters investor confidence, and strengthens the SKN economy through an effective regulatory framework. That's really what it's about. Like, a lot of what I'm doing now is not even about regulation, because the office isn't officially set up as yet. It's been about that. Fostering the groundwork, ensuring that we have shareholders, finding out what is our value now before we take a specific pathway. And that was the vision. The mission is to regulate the medicinal cannabis industry in St. Kitts Nevis in the public interest, so as to ensure compliance with the laws and support best practices in research, cultivation, manufacture, management, governance, administration of the medicinal cannabis industry. So we try to encompass,
everything,
all the important stakeholders and shareholders.
As I was telling you, when I lived in Antigua, there was a law that was passed. I think you could have had 3 to 5 plants planted in your backyard. Do you think that would be one of the measures that would happen here? Allow the average person that smokes, maybe for recreation, to have that amount of plants in their backyard?
I could speak directly to that. I just spoke about the intent of the law and the letter of the law. So I would leave that to AG Garth Wilkin. But I'll say this. He did speak to me about a specific amount of plants, and that might be on the books.
Okay.
But again, that's basically to steer persons, because, again, human nature. If you tell people you're allowed to go in the backyard, then you will have persons with a whole plantation in the backyard, encroaching on the neighbors. So specifically, that speaks to for you to have some stuff.
Okay, regulation will be needed.
Yeah. So we try as much. We don't want to over-regulate, because, again, I can have 5. Cannabis is such a wonderful plant. I could have 5 plants this size, and I could have 1 plant that could take up nearly the whole of this room, depending on how I grow it and everything. So it sort of creates a gray area, and we don't want to leave things up to everybody's conscience. So again, the law must have an intent and a letter. So it may come down to specifically 5 plants. But again, we want people to understand that everybody can grow, but with conscience. thinking about your home environment, thinking about your neighbors. You can't take up the whole backyard. And again, as much as I am pro cannabis, I'm also pro food. Like we really need to grow more food and take away from our food import bill. And cannabis thrives in an environment where there are other plants. So that's the magic of the plant. It doesn't want to be alone.
Ooh. I always thought it wanted to grow with its own kind.
In fact, there's a bit of misogyny going on in that cannabis, as it's seen now, because it was clandestine and illegal, especially in the developed nations like Europe and the US. A lot of it was placed indoors. Like over the past 50, 40 years, they've been going indoors. But these guys have become masters of growing the cannabis plant. And they found out that just like just like most plants, there's a female and a male. So what they've done is separated the female who produces the flowers, and because they specifically want the flowers that have the highest THC value, they frustrated her, as in not allow her to have male plants around, not allow her to engage. So what you have coming out is a plant that's basically sexually frustrated. That you're forced not to interact, not to pollinate, and what she does now is just become prettier. Create more terpenes to have a better smell and a broader smell so that birds, bees, and whatever pollinates her can. So that bud that we have at the end of it, that's on High Times magazine, that everybody's running from, is just the product of a sexually frustrated plant that's trying her best to attract any pollinator. And in that, she increases all the properties that create THC and makes a very potent plant. But that's not our most scientific plant. We need a plant that thrives in our kitchen environment, in our soil, that can take the environment, and that brings a more robust plant. And that's a better medicinally valued plant. But we have to strike a balance, because outdoor presents all the harshness, all the stressors. So one of the core values, again, that we've established is that we're going to do a greenhouse program. The kitchens can be allowed to go outside. We will do some outside growing again, but most of it will be indoor, using our soil, but trying to control some of the environmental factors while still expounding on our wonderful sun.
So do you think once everything has been put in place, we will be in a position where we will become exponential growers, where we can grow so much that we are able to export?
It's a ticklish balance of finding quantity and quality, and I think we need to move more toward the quality.
Okay.
And that's been one of my specific arguments, that I don't want us to focus too much on export and the exterior. I want us to focus on growing a quality product. When you grow a quality product, you don't even need to export it. People will come to you to have it. And that's one of the wonders of doing it and structuring it that way. Because we have tourism, and we have a tourism product. If we have one of the best strains, one of the best quality cannabis, medicinal or otherwise, on the planet, people are going to come here. They're going to need to stay. They're going to use our taxis and our Ubers, and they're going to find out there are other magical things here in St. Kitts. So one of the strengths of our new industry will be the fact that it won't be a focus on quantity and having fields and acres of marijuana. And if you do acres and acres of marijuana, it's going to be acres and acres of very high quality, specifically tailored cannabis.
So is there anyone growing a quality now that you guys are looking at?
I have to tell Gadini, you've been asking some really good questions in it. And I actually was going to bring some, but given the time factor, I couldn't go to one of the selected growers. But I really wanted to show you one of the flowers produced here. We have some super high quality growers, indoor, outdoor. That has been one of the greatest treasures that I've found on this journey with cannabis, that we're such an incredibly intelligent people. So ingenious, because if they're producing this quality on the duress, hiding in an old house with a backyard greenhouse, and there's another extreme. I've also seen kitchens who've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars and have like state-of-the-art
Don't say.
facilities already.
That's good.
And I'm saying that's beautiful. So before we look to the outside,
Yes.
we really have to find our value here and know what's our value here to specifically say, yeah, we need this. Or specifically say, we can partner with you. And that's what I've been working on along with my team.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Wow. Oh. So let's talk about, well, you've expounded on some of your roles and responsibility. Let's talk about the challenges the medicinal cannabis is expected to face in its beginning baby stages.
Right.
But before we go to that, let me ask. We said smoke, for those who smoke in public, especially cannabis, is that smoke harmful to our health as is cigarette smoke?
No,
Okay.
it's not, but it's a similar culture. Like when I said that, I said this, like I detest cigarette smoke, like, and not because I don't like cigarettes. It really does something to me. Like, so I'm not one that wants to be in an area where somebody might be doing that.
Okay.
So I guess we could call it manners. Like a lot of things we tend to regulate.
Yes.
Doesn't need to be regulated. We just need to be steadfast and say, all right, could you sit over here? Or persons who are smoking, because there are several ways to interact with the plant. Smoking is the most popular way because it's the easiest. It's the easiest way to get a high. You roll up, lungs, bloodstream, brain, and you're there.
Yeah.
So we really have to start, and it's because we haven't been interacting with the plant in the public. We are interacting with it at all. We've been hiding. So now that culture needs to be developed, that when you go to events, there's a specific area tailored for that, just as we did with cigarettes before.
Yeah.
As you see when you go internationally and you go on an airport and there are smoke rooms or bars, and I don't even want to go back too far, but I'm sure you remember when ashtrays were in all cars.
Yes.
That was a part of all cars, in all doors.
Yes.
On the back of the seat.
Houses
in
too.
planes.
Yes. Yep.
At the movies.
Yep.
So we were smoking indoors all over. So it's not foreign to us, but the culture needs to be developed where we understand that it can disturb persons. As healthy as it is, as natural it is, it can disturb persons, and not all persons like it. And at the end of the day, it's smoke. Smoke. You know, smoke is always going to cause your body to react in a
different way. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Secondhand smoke, in terms of public smoking, it's just for us to develop that culture and to have manners.
Yeah, respect each other.
Forthright.
Okay. All right. So let's speak to the challenges now that we've cleared that up. That is expected in the beginning stages.
For medicinal cannabis, the doctors might be the first and important pushback. Yeah. In terms of, again, I found in my personal experience, lots of doctors have a negative connotation attached to smoking, attached to cannabis. They highlight the research done on the mental problems that they say that it caused. But a lot of research on cannabis have been that negative research. They've gone to find out what is bad about it, what problems it has created. That has been the research over the past 100 years. So the most recent research has not been about its positives. It's gone in with the bad.
But who has written what is bad about it?
Well, again, and most of it from outside, we now have to do our own research. That is why I said research and development must be one of the core values going forward. And that research and development must be done by us. I'm going to take you back again to our historical aspect in terms of sugar. When we had sugar, we had different strains of sugar plant. We had the Braps that we were renowned for here in St. Kitts. We had Caddy, which was a Caribbean research and development that not only research and develop cane, all the crops we had around. So we really need, I don't even want to say to go back to that. We have the templates, we have the know-how, we have the agronomists and the horticulturists. We really just now need to specifically tailor it to cannabis and other plants and do the research. We can't import research from Europe because Europe does not have our soil, nor our experiences, nor America, nor Latin America. We really have to come back into our own. And I think because cannabis is trendy, because it's economically viable, we know how that platform to say, hey, let's do it the right way. Yeah, and I think we're going to do it the right way this time.
How many people are working with you to ensure that this happens?
But now, I've established what I call the Medical Cannabis Legalization Task Force. As much as I don't like the term task force, I think it's, you know what I mean, it's going to put up that flag that gets people to look. And that's just basically consultants, local and foreign, and persons who have been interacting with for even before I got this position. Because I said I don't want to be the face of cannabis in St. Kitts, but at the same time I want to bring my core values. Yes. There's nothing within this role that shouldn't align with my previously established core values, again, which means community and culture.
You are the face, but then you say you don't want to be the face. Why do you not want to be the face?
No, I'm saying I'm not the face and I won't be the face, but the core values of the role must align with my core values. Okay. Yeah. Because it must be all inclusive, you know, and if I'm the face, people are going to be looking for me again to perform the miracles, and there's no miracles to perform unless it's all of us.
Yes.
Yeah. So some of the challenges that is changing that scope and changing some of those stereotypes, because again, cannabis has been illegal for the past 100 years. You know, generations have come and gone and met it so and left it so. So it's very difficult for people to think beyond its illegality. And lots of persons still think that, you know, I'm introducing something new. And I keep reminding persons cannabis has been around for thousands of years, and we've had an industry that's been operating clandestine in the dark. All I'm doing now is turn on the lights, but I have to be strategic in which lights I turn on and who I allow into the room.
Yes, indeed. We know education is the key to everything. And we know you're educating us today. What other avenues of education have you created for this upcoming industry?
Okay. Again, because the office hasn't been officially structured yet, and we're in the process of that, but what I would like to see is a fully established website where you can apply and register and even fill out your applications for the licenseship right there online. It doesn't have to be physical or you come into the office. And again, there'll be information there, but a lot of it will be linked, link baiting and sending people to, because again, it's inclusive and it's interactive and it's interdependent in that I want the Medical Cannabis Authority to be working hand in hand with all the other ministries, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Finance. So we don't keep reinventing the wheel, and we don't have a huge human resource pool. So I want as much as possible for it to be, you know, everybody and the different shareholders, the different stakeholders involved to help make the most holistic decision.
So as we wrap up, any final words for our viewing audience and residents and citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis?
So much to say. I don't know if I could sum it up. I think, like I said before, this is a very exciting time for St. Kitts. A very exciting times for agriculture, because again, cannabis is an agriculture. It's a plant.
Yes.
And all this illegality and all these laws have kind of taken us away from that is just a plant that deserves to grow and can contribute so much to us.
Yes.
So allow it. Yes, that would be my takeaway. Allow it. Because a lot of the issues is just from the pushback and the fighting.
Yes.
Allow it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the CEO of the Medicinal Cannabis Authority here in St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Garfield Alexander. I hope you were informed as much as I was. Stay tuned, much more after this short break.
Good morning, SKN. Wagwan. Yo, it's Bensley Lad coming to you live from Jamaica. You see it already, see me? See me, I say Caribbean people stand up and I love this. This show is very important. You understand me? Yeah, man. Studio 327. Bensley, it's a big up. See me, I say. I'm the whole innocent crew. Yeah, man. More love.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
Yoshi Voice representing for Good Morning SKN. We say good vibes, good energy, blessings and love. Voice rated. Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moen Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
That was quite a long holiday break this past weekend. While rest is important, and I hope that you all feel rejuvenated, it is time to get back on track and to achieving our goals. Yes, I'll say our goals, me including, whatever they may be. In an effort to help you do just that, let's take a look at this motivating video from the YouTube page entitled Law of Attraction Coaching. Let's take a look.
And it's something that has to be developed, over a period of time. We all must deal with that dark side of our nature, the positive side of our nature. And it isn't that it ever gets done or finished, but that we should suppress those things that would cause us trouble, not only within ourselves, but cause us trouble with someone else.
You're not aware of that conflict going on, because conscious attention doesn't need ordinarily to focus upon it. And so you don't get involved, and you're not anxious about what party is winning and what party is losing. They're keeping up a kind of balance.
It's a spiritual battle, and it's taken people thousands and thousands of years to figure this out. You can find that. You just look inside. Inadequacy, weakness, susceptibility to temptation, narcissism, pride, envy, revenge, resentment, frustration, lack of faith, all of that.
So we spend a lot of our energy, a lot of our time, a lot of our work and our thoughts on how much stuff can I get, how much can I accumulate. And the problem that comes up with this is that if you believe that you are what you have, if you really believe that, so we have a, almost like a dilemma. If I am what I have, then when I don't, I'm not. I start to get really terrified. I start to get really scared when I don't have as much stuff as I want to have, or when other people have more stuff. So we spend a lot of our energy comparing ourselves to what other people have.
Jump on the positive side of whatever you want and see if you can't help out in this warfare and this push-shove match. That's the key. That's why the old wise man said, we must learn to love and hate. So underline that. You must learn to love and hate. And the illustration he used was, you must learn to love good and hate evil.
But the major key to your and my future, the major key to you and mine being able to put our lives together, to get up and move forward, the major key to creating the next greatest version of ourselves and looking out for our families and improving our lives and our community. A major key is you. It's me. It's all of us. We have to decide that we're going to take responsibility.
So, what are the opportunities today? Probably one of the best forms of growth that we can work with now is cooperation and service to each other. The individual finds perhaps the greatest basic joy that there is in the human composition when he brings joy or releases joy through other persons. One of the simplest things we can do is to plan a program of helpfulness, a program of not thinking about ourselves, but earning the respect, admiration, confidence, and affection of other people. It is something to look back quietly upon a good deed that has brought security to another. And this type of backward looking is probably the most cheerful as possible. So service to others. If you do not know what to do, help someone in desperate trouble. Forget being deprived of a few hours of television or being requested to turn away from some ordinary leisure that you have planned. But try to see what you can do to help other people. Now, if you have special trained abilities in these matters, there are many opportunities that open themselves to the person who really wants to help. If you have music as a background and have the abilities, find some young people who want music and cannot afford it. And instead of sitting around gossiping or answering phone calls, take these young people and try to educate them or help them in their musical lessons. If you are in business, take young people who need business training. They will not get proper training in school, but they can get it from someone who has been through it and knows what is right and knows what should occur and what should not occur. Everyone can do something, and out of the best they have done themselves, share with another. Then there are things you can do for yourself. If you are not in a position or do not feel equipped to work with other people, then work with yourself. develop those faculties and powers which are not functioning properly today. Look over your own life and see what your mind is doing. Is your mind growing, or is it just heaping up one prejudice on top of another? Watch your thoughts and see whether or not you're instinctively criticizing things you do not understand, or have developed powerful prejudices which interfere with justice and judgment. Look over your own nature and then go to work on the problem that you find needs attention. It is not good, however, to try to simply convert yourself. To sit down and say, I shouldn't hold that attitude, is usually not very meaningful. What you really should do if you dislike a certain condition is get into that condition yourself. Move in on it and find out why people think the way they do. Instead of criticizing from some set point within yourself, find out why other people are not more successful in their judgments. I know a number of persons who have simply gone into various walks of life which are not their own in order to find out how other people really live. And it is almost certainly an eye-opener. If you do not wish to go through all this, it then is the best attitude you can have is to believe firmly that every individual is doing the best he can for what he is. And it is always important to try to estimate what he is and help him to become better.
That was definitely something to take in, and it shows us that there's a positive side to life and there's a negative side to life. I start with the positive because sometimes we let the negative overcome the positive. You can let me know in the comments how you overcome your negative thoughts. It also said that sometimes in our own selfish desires, we go like me, and we forget that someone may be needing our time, and that time that we can give then, we can never give it again, especially when they needed it then. Let's say we have somebody that's prone to depression, and they just need to talk to us for that 1 minute, and you'd be like, I have a spa appointment, or I have a coffee date, or you have something, and you just walk away from that person and you don't speak to them, and then you literally hear something bad happen to them. How good does that make you feel? How do you deal with that emotion then, knowing that you could have probably given that person 2 minutes of your time, listened to what they would have said, given them the best advice you could have. As I said, sometimes we give advice and we don't take advice, but at least, you know, they just needed that listening ear, and we were just that ear. Maybe we didn't even give the advice, but just thinking how we could have helped that person at that moment, and we forever have to live with the fact that we didn't give the person the time that they needed. Life is fragile, and I just think we should be more selfless, pay it forward, and not be as selfish and not be into ourselves more than we should be. They normally say comparison is the thief of joy. And I think, for one, we should stop comparing ourselves to each other. We should be each other's keeper. And we should try our best. Every day I try to say, spread love. Do something positive for someone, even if it's a compliment. You know, just make somebody smile, because you never know what we are going through. We live in a tough world, and it's hard sometimes to fight on your own. It's like you need the help of someone, even if they're not your closest ally. Ah, life. As they say, we all have two sides, so let us explore the better of the two sides. We have to fight the negative in order to let the positive shine. Even if you have to exercise, you take a walk, you talk with your friends, you listen to some music to unwind. You do whatever rocks your boat. And when it comes to each other, it mentioned, I think a little part there was about differences. Sometimes we like to say that our way is the best way. And this is how someone should do it, but that's not it. We should listen, we should educate ourselves, we should understand, and in some cases just not say anything, because sometimes some conversations or discussions or arguments that develop aren't even worth it. So it is better to just listen, educate oneself, delve deeper. So if the conversation arises again, then you have more supporting points and factors to contribute and have a meaningful discussion. And I hope when I'm saying this that both persons would be on the same mindset, because I went and do some research and you had your points and I listened to you, and that you listen to me the same way. Oh, what is life? What is life when we can't just agree to disagree and not just fight each other like we normally do on a daily basis? The video also told us to pursue growth and elevation. And that is something we must do daily. I cannot think or speak the way I spoke when I was 3 years old. I have to elevate every day. So I have to learn something new every day. You're never too old to learn. Even the smallest, maybe insect can teach you something. Smallest child. We are not above ourselves or each other. So learning something new every day is the best way to go. So with that said, I hope that you would have learned a lot from the videos. It had a few of my favorite speakers, including Mr. Jim Rohn. Be positive, make time for others, spread a little love, spread a little kindness, and ensure that your positive feelings and ways outshine those of the negative. With that said, stay tuned. Much more after this short break.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Here are some random fun facts to brighten up your Tuesday morning. Yes, it is Tuesday. It is Tuesday. So we will begin. I'm trying to think of my own fun fact. Wear a smile on your face or wear red. I think red brightens up every single room. Yeah, so that's my fun fact. To begin the morning. I didn't even know red was my favorite color, guys. I put it on and it pops. So yeah, wear red and a big smile. So did you know instrument strings were made from animals? Dun dun dun. I think I knew. The lionfish maybe? So the strings of string instruments were originally made from the guts of animals like sheep or lamb. Ooh. Now instrument makers have transitioned to metal or plastic wiring. Okay. I wonder why. Well, the drums that we have are made from, I think, animal parts. Yeah. So fair enough. And they make great tunes. Yep. Wow. There's me thinking, oh, why would I think the lionfish though? So the next time I see an old guitar, I will think it is the inside of a lamb. And I'll be like, whoa. Interesting fact. So did you know 40% of human jobs could be replaced by AI in the future? Yes, and I don't want that to happen because then I'll have to stay at home and then I'll have nothing to do but exercise. Then I'll get bored and then I'll... Oh my gosh, no. Please don't replace our jobs. So artificial intelligence expert Kai-Fu Lee said that 40% of human jobs could be replaced by equally capable robots. Drivers might be affected the most. What? Drivers, you say? Wow. Wow. Well, we see that. We had the Tesla that drives itself basically once you program where you're going in it. Wow. Guys, let's be grateful for the jobs that we have. This is a fun fact. Let us do it to the best of our ability so that we are not replaced by AI because it's coming whether we like it or not. It's our future. It is indeed our future. Wow. Did you know that Disneyland has an underground tunnel system? I won't be surprised. The tunnels were built in response to characters having to run through other lands to get to their pools, which spoiled the magic. Okay, fair enough. Aww, so cute. I don't know who made mouse. For us to see a normal mouse, it's like, no, I don't want to touch that. But for us to see Mickey and Minnie, we always want a photo op. Did you know that your body loses up to 8% of water on a flight? Yeah, I knew that. This is because the humidity in the climate-controlled environment can be as low as 10 to 15%. That's why, guys, as much as you like to drink coffee and tea on board, they recommend that you drink more water because coffee and tea dehydrate your body when you're in the sky, hence the multiple trips to the bathroom. So drink more water when you're on a plane. Yeah, I've tested it, I've done it. Water is the way to go. Water is the way to go. That's why you get white hands and you get dry lips and you get a dry throat because you are being dehydrated because of the altitude that you're at. The moisture is basically leaving your body. Yeah, not to kill you, but it's leaving your body. Yeah. So did you know the wind on Mars is audible? No, I didn't know. Maybe I need to go. So sensors on the NASA InSight lander on Mars picked up the first recorded sounds of Martian wind through vibrations. Ooh. Now, I am going to implore some of my coworkers and we are going to go to Mars to hear this wind. I got all thumbs up, guys. Wow. I'm still looking for life though, but I don't see any life out there. Alright. So did you know your skin sheds? We are snakes? The current skin you're in will be gone in a month, or skin sheds 30,000 to 40,000 skin cells each day. However, it rejuvenates just as quickly as it deteriorates. Yeah, we all know that. We all know that. And sometimes when we get a cut to or burn, yeah, we're shedding. You have to shed that skin to get new ones. So yeah, we do shed. We just don't see it the way we would see the outer body of a snake. Like when he sheds. Yeah, I have seen this, but I thought this person was on the skin peel. I didn't realize they were shedding their skin. Wow. Ooh. Did you know trees can communicate? I figured. Tree roots are connected through an underground network of fungi, and they talk by transmitting nutrients to one another through the fungi. I like this. You see, even the trees know to be nice and to share with each other. So why we as humans with emotions, abilities, and voices can't share and love in each other? Yeah, I've always seen this in movies, especially when they have the sparklies and the roots intertwining and like the trees are falling in love. I've always seen this, so I always believe that they communicate. Even the way they sway. I don't know, guys. I have a mind that sees things that I think other persons don't see. So I always believe that trees can communicate with each other. Wow. Did you know people rarely use the smiley photos? Yeah, the black and white ones, they had straight faces. I wonder why though. So smiling in photos is said to have originated from a Kodak advertisement scheme that focused on capturing moments of happiness with the product. Since then, it's been the norm to grin into the camera, of course. We're always grinning. And for those of us that do selfies, we take like 20 selfies. We don't put up the odd ones that we don't like. We put up the one that has the perfect smile, or we put up the one that the filter best suits us. But yeah, I always wondered why people didn't smile back then. It's like the photographer was saying, it's a passport picture moment, no smiling. Wow, serious faces, and I'm sure they got beautiful white teeth under there. Right. So did you know the first documentary was staged? Dun dun dun. So Nanook of the North is widely credited as the first documentary, but it was not true. Oh, dun dun dun. The plot thickens. Most of the film was staged, including its cast and surroundings. Story of life and love. Dun dun dun. So it truly is a story. Nothing else but a story. So did you know Elvis didn't write Blue Suede Shoes? Who did then? Instead, the pioneer of rockabilly music, Carl Perkins wrote the illustrious song that sold 2 million copies before Presley covered it. All I can remember is my blue suede shoes. I think that's all. I don't remember anything else from that. Did you know lions are identifiable through their whisker patterns? No, I didn't know. So like humans and fingerprints, each lion has a whisker pattern unique to their nose. Wow. That's nice. So everyone is an individual. Even if you're in the animal kingdom, you can be identified. Wow. Did you know there's a 500,000 word novel without the letter E? You don't say. So Gatsby is a novel written by Ernest Vincent Wright in 1939 without using the letter E. But how though? Because even his name has an E, so then he should have changed his name. How? So there was no the, there was no them, there was no they, there was no E, you say? Wow. Did you know you can tell if an egg is old if it Yep, if it floats in water. If an egg floats when you set it in water, then it's old. If it sinks, it's a fresher egg, and you're good to go. Yeah, because when I was growing up, and fridges weren't a popular thing, what we did, we kept the egg outside, but we turned them over almost every day so that they won't spoil. And as you rightfully said, if we put it in water and it landed at the bottom, we know that was for the basura. That was for the garbage. Yeah, no good. Did you know there's a secret vault that holds nearly every type of crop seed? No, I didn't know. It's the Salvabird Global Seed Vault, located in one of the coldest corners of the world, an island in an archipelago between Norway and the North Pole. Wow. Ooh, look at that. What? Even the makeup of the storage is fancy. Folks, those are all the facts we have to brighten up your Tuesday morning. And remember, wear red, wear a big smile, and see you after this break.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First, you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
Good morning, this is Carol from Lux Carnival, and I listen to Good Morning SKN.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Welcome back, GMSKN Nation, as we continue here on Good Morning SKN. Before the invention of modern-day streaming platforms such as Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, Disney Plus, and the list goes on and on and on and on, we didn't have the luxury of watching our favorite TV shows wherever and whenever we wanted. In fact, these shows only aired on TV at specific times during the day. Yes, and you know, guys, some of us ran home from school just to be in time to catch our Power Rangers, our Thundercats, etc., etc. So we would have to wake up early, rush home from school, see, I just said it, or even call it quits on a neighborhood hang just in time to catch our favorite TV shows. And you know, those days were the bomb.com. Oh my gosh. In this segment of Time Machine, we will be looking at some popular black sitcoms released between 1975, a few years before I was here on Earth, and 2005. Let us know in the comments. So GMSKN Nation, come on in the comments and let us know if you have seen any of them. And you can even tell us some that you may not see us air today, but that you remember, so that the next time I can share them live and let you know that we saw your comment. Oh man, who didn't like this garbage man? He was always going to see Elizabeth. Funny enough though, he died of a heart attack. But I enjoyed Sanford and Sons. I enjoyed him and his sister-in-law Esther having arguments. Listen, I enjoyed him and his friend when they went out gambling. I enjoyed when he finally when he got engaged, and I thought he was going to be married, but Mr. Stanford was meant to be a bachelor all the days of his life after his wife died, according to the script that was written for him to play. But Sanford and Son is iconic. I enjoyed, my favorite episode was when he built this tower that he called art, and eventually he had to break that entire tower down. That was my favorite. Imagine he wanted people to pay to go up into his tower of junk. But yeah, I still watch reruns of that show, and although you know what's coming, the show is still funny. So yeah, Sanford and Son. Let me know in the comment what you thought of Sanford and Son, and that ran from 1972 to 1977. It just seemed longer than that. Oh, Good Times. Oh my. Listen, y'all, I saw JJ on I think it's an AARP commercial the other day, and I couldn't believe. I'd be like, oh my God, JJ. Listen, him and his sister, and he's always telling his sister she can't cook and what she can't do. This was a fun one too. 5 years as well, from 1974 to 1979. Wow, good times, good times, good times. Where's the dad? Oh yeah, the dad probably had died out already from the episode. Wow. Ooh, we're moving on up. Ooh, this had a good 10-year run. Yeah, this was fun. The way George and his antics, and he's always perfectly dressed in his suit. The way he slammed the door in Mr. Bentley's face. The concierge, him and Florence. Listen, his maid stood up to him. She was not to play with. That even when she left, the wife had to go. Weezy had to go and get her back some Florence. But the Jeffersons was a good show. A great show. Imagine watching these, going to school, discussing these, and these were some wholesome discussions, you know, George and Wheezy, some wholesome discussions in my day. Oh, the Cosby Show. Oh, 1984 to 1992. This was a wholesome family show as well. This was a wholesome family show with Rudy and Theo and Claire. Oh my gosh, I enjoyed this show. I enjoyed this show. I wanted to be part of this family, yo. Because they just seem like the perfect TV family. I wanted to be part of this family. I'm getting a shake head like, I wanted to be part of the TV family. It seemed perfect. Yeah. A different world. I honestly cannot say I watched this, but I have been catching up on episodes recently because my uncle watches a lot of reruns. So yeah, that lady with her funny voice that ended up marrying not the person that she came to get married to, but I guess in this show, the love of her life. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And that ran from 1987 to 1993. Can't remember the theme song for this one. This wasn't on my watch list as a kid. Ooh, who didn't watch some Urkel? Ooh, and I like when Urkel turned from Urkel to Stefan Urkel. And that's when Laura fell in love with Stefan Urkel. What he did not do, and it shows you the lengths that people will go to get what they want in life. And Urkel felt that he wasn't being taken serious as a nerd, so he built an entire invention to eventually get the girl of his dreams, and eventually she realized that she can have them both, and she is going to be in love with the original Steve. So even after all that work, it proves that sometimes we have to not be as shallow as we can be, but look deep inside of ourselves and in our souls and fall in love with the original person and not the carbon copy of them. So this was a wholesome family show as well. It taught you so many values. It showed you when you did well, what was in store, and when you did bad. Yep. And Steve annoyed Carl. But yeah, Steve had his own vibe. Steve had his own dance. Steve had his own instruments. Steve made that harmonica, and listen, he made it popular again. Everybody wanted to do the Urkel and dress like Urkel. Oh, who don't remember well? Oh, this was GMSK Nation. You have to let me know if this is your favorite show. And this ran for 6 years. From 1990 to 1996. Oh my gosh. I swear Will sent up Uncle Phil's pressure as often as he could. And my favorite parts of these shows was seeing the guys being tossed out the house. That sometimes you actually saw that it was actually a dummy being tossed out. Especially because Jazzy Jeff got the most tossed out of that house. I swear. But I enjoyed it all. Carlton's dance. I enjoyed. Jeffrey was a smart-mouthed butler. Like Florence from the Jeffersons, Jeffrey was a smart-mouthed butler. But I enjoyed it all. And I loved Hillary. Oh my gosh, I love Hillary. Her poshness. I loved it. I loved it. It was a good show. Still is. Who didn't remember Martin? Ooh, ooh, ooh. I think they lost. Cole was the most recent loss from the show. I think he passed on the other day. But Tashina Arnold is still around. So is Tisha Campbell. And so is Martin in his bad boy era now. And so I think Tommy is still around. This also ran for 5 years, and from 1992 to 1997. So guys, Shanae was my favorite character. Yes. And Romy Rome. I had two, Romy Rome and Shanae. So tell me, what was yours? Oh, this show was good. This show was good. And Martin and Pam is always at it. And then Pam and Tommy was always at it until they eventually fell in love. And Cole was just clueless to everything. But they all gelled together, and it was a wonderful show. Tell me, who was your favorite character? Living single, yes. We are living single in the 90s kind of world. I'm glad I got my girls. I don't remember the rap though, but yeah, I remember the show. This was a nice one. This was a nice one. And Max actually came from the Cosby Show over to Living Single. And the great Queen Latifah, yes. I saw them somewhere the other day, I think doing a reunion. And boy, Kim Fields, they all look good. They all look good. Yep. Who didn't remember Sister Sister? Go Home Roger. Go Home Roger was like Go Home Steve. And this had a 5-year run as well. So I enjoyed this show. So they each adopt a sister and then they realize, oh, they're twins, and then they move in together. And yeah, I enjoyed Lisa and Ray. I saw actually Lisa, well, I can't remember her real name at the moment, but she's starring in a Lifetime movie where her son is terrorizing his ex-wife. I don't think he seemingly faked his death in an accident. I think that's what it is, what it's about. But he's still alive. So she's the mother of that young man. But Lisa and Ray and Tia and Tamara and Roger, yes. Roger was played by Marcus Houston, if I remember correctly. Listen, I can't believe we fit so many things into the time slot. And we had chores to do, and we had studying to do, and we got it all done. And we came out to be the kids we are today. Wow. Yep. Who did not like a good Wayne's Brothers? Oh my gosh, they were funny. Marlon, listen, the things Marlon can do with his body, right? That was so funny. And Pops. And Pops, oh my gosh. Pops and his leftover food at that diner. Listen, this was a fun sitcom. And Dee, oh my gosh. I enjoyed the Wayne's Brothers, yep. And the advert. Granny got knocked down and managed to land by a whole bus and managed to land on a bench still alive, huh? Wow. The things we did to make people laugh. But they say to 2023? Are we sure it's 2023? Because I think this was done for a minute, you know. And I also like these Brothers in White Chicks too. That movie was fun. That movie was fun. Oh, Jamie. This was another fun one. GMSK Nation, you have to let me know if you enjoyed this sitcom as well. Jamie and Braxton. Jamie was always ragging Braxton. I do not understand. Well, we say ragging, but teasing. Always teasing Braxton and Fancy, the love of his life. But I like the fact, and when I look back at these shows, Jamie always projected what is it he wanted to do and what is it he was going to do. And I mean that in terms of singing. It's funny enough, he maybe jump-started his singing career a while back, but it never took off until the 2000s. So he was preparing himself. So it showed preparation is the key, as Akila would have told us. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So you have to prepare yourself to be propelled into your desired position or into the desired career that you need. Yep. Oh, Moesha. Oh, this is a nice one too, from 1996 to 2001. Yeah, Moesha was nice. And then she got a real brother on there. Yeah, I enjoyed this. This is a nice, wholesome teenage show. Randy and her braids. Oh, My Wife and Kids. This came on 5 years run too, 2000 to 2007. This is good. With Marcus. It's funny how you can only remember some characters because those are the characters that got in the most trouble of the show. Wow. Yeah, with Tisha Campbell. And a Wayne's, I'm trying to remember his name. I can't remember his name. But I can remember Marcus because eventually Marcus ended up being a teenage dad. But I swear he was the klutz in the family. Oh my gosh. Everybody hates Chris. Oh my gosh. Again, there goes to Sheena Arnold and Terry Crews. Yeah, he acted in White Chicks too. Poor Chris. I loved the voiceover of this. I loved, and this had a 4-year run. I think it could have had more, you know, because this was a wholesome show as well. Imagine he has a voiceover and then he still speaks. But this was a very good show. Everybody hates Chris. Should we sing that when we see all the Christophers? No, not nice. Oh, well, guys, there you had it. I hope you had as much fun as me reminiscing on the shows. As I said, we may not have mentioned some of the shows that you would have remembered, but think us in the comments. Let us know and stay tuned. Much more after this short break.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
Have you ever been bored but had no one to talk to? Aww. Well, let me introduce you to ChatGPT. This is an artificial intelligent chatbot developed by OpenAI and launched in November 2022. See, they're taking over one thing at a time. Run for your lives, run to the hill. No, come right here. Come right here and stay with me. So to have some fun, we'll be asking ChatGPT some weird questions we found on the internet. Have a question you would like to ask ChatGPT? Leave us a comment. Let us know. And then we will give you the answer that it would have said, right? So you have to be in it with us right now to ask your question. So here goes. So why does Donald Duck wear a towel when he comes out of the shower when he doesn't usually wear any pants? Because maybe the water can roll off his back, or maybe because he would have showered, his feathers are up. I don't. He wears a jacket though. Oh wow, ChatGPT just got so much things to say. So Donald Duck, like many folks, this is the response from ChatGPT. So Donald Duck, like many other cartoon characters, is a fictional character with a unique style and appearance. The decision to have him wear a towel when coming out of the shower instead of pants is likely due to the fact that the creators of the character wanted to maintain his iconic and recognizable look while still conveying the idea that he had just finished bathing. Additionally, it is worth noting that cartoon characters often don't conform to real-world standards of logic or consistency. Their appearances and actions are frequently exaggerated or absurd for comedic effect or to further the story. So while it may seem illogical for Donald Duck to wear a towel but no pants, it is simply a characteristic of his particular cartoon world. Wow. This thing has gotten its name correctly. It likes to chat. So, on to the next one. If I eat myself, will I get twice as big or disappear completely? So y'all, this morning, I have to share this with you. Whilst putting on my makeup, I sprayed alcohol on one of my wedges. And when I sprayed the alcohol, the wedge expanded and I was shocked. I was like, what science experiment is this? Because I never had that happen before. So that is something I discovered today. Spraying alcohol on your wedges expands it. We're waiting to see what ChatGPT is going to tell us. If we're going to get bigger or if we are going to disappear completely. It is impossible for a person to eat themselves, that we know, as it goes against the laws of biology and physics. Even if it were somehow physically possible, the idea of getting twice as big or disappearing completely doesn't make sense. When you eat food, it gets broken down and absorbed by your digestive system. The nutrients are used to fuel your body's function and help it grow and repair. If we are to somehow eat a part of our own body, it would be digested just like any other food. And no, we're not cannibals, so we definitely won't. And the nutrients would be used by your body in the same way. However, eating your own body would not make you twice as big. Your body would simply break down the tissues you eat and use it for fuel, just like it does with any other food. And obviously, it's not possible to eat your entire body. Come on, guys. So the idea of disappearing completely is not realistic either. It is important to remember that self-cannibalism is not only impossible, but also incredibly dangerous and harmful to one's health. You were warned. It's not something that should ever be attempted or even joked about. So take your body and your life serious. No eating of thyself. Okay, so I have to ask you a question. So why am I wearing red and pearls this morning and yellow nail polish? I want to ask it that. Why am I wearing the color red, pearls, and yellow nail polish? Can't wait. I can't wait to see the answer. I already see something that tells me. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to see what ChatGPT says to me. Okay, so I asked it, why am I wearing the color red, pearls, and yellow nail polish? As an AI language model, I have no way of knowing why you're wearing red, pearls, and yellow nail polish. Your choice of clothing and accessory is a personal one and can be influenced by many factors such as your personal taste, the occasion, season, or the latest fashion trends. it is also possible that you are not actually wearing those things and your question is hypothetical, wow, or meant to be a joke. In any case, it's important to remember that clothing and accessories are a form of self-expression, and everyone is entitled to wear what they feel comfortable and confident in. But I'm wearing those things. This chat told me. It sure told me. Oh, well, guys, it is that time of the day. It came so quickly, I didn't even recognize. So we want to say thank you for joining us today. And tune in daily, where you'll find a little bit of everything for everyone. Get your friends and family to watch. And for those of you watching us in St. Martin and in Trinidad and the diaspora and all around the world, we are grateful for you. So remember to follow us on our social media platforms. Yes, continue to subscribe. I see those subscriptions going. So follow us on our platforms, including Facebook and YouTube and the Studio 327 INC and Instagram at Good Morning SKN. Remember to like, as I said before, continue subscribing, share, and share, follow and share. Also check our website at studio327inc.com to learn more about Good Morning SKN and Studio 327. And leave us a comment and let us know what was your favorite part of today's show. I can't wait to talk with Dr. Garfield some more about our medicinal cannabis. I enjoy the throwback shows. I enjoy all parts of the show. And see you tomorrow on Hump Day. Yes, Hump Day has come fast this week. Yesterday was a holiday at 8 a.m. When you will wake up bright and early, grab your coffee, stretch, turn on whatever device, even if you're at work, and join us right here at Good Morning SKN. Thank you for watching. See you in tomorrow.